As you can see from the screen, this is not going to be a typical video, and I thought it'd be nice for a change just to do a little bit of setup. If you're interested in using web scrapers, any sort of Python, Scrapey, Beautiful Soup, whatever, then occasionally you may get asked to scrape a site that is secure, shall we say, for a customer, e.g. they may have a login which they don't want to share with you, or which they can't share with you because they're in a different country, and if they give you their password, you'll come from a different IP, and potentially you could compromise their ability to access a site which they use for their daily business. So to be able to web scrape that, you can share their screen and so on, but obviously they've got to supervise it. So to be able to work on a project unsupervised and quickly in your own country, then sometimes it's worth thinking about how can you set up dummy site, basically. And obviously there's lots of ways of doing that. So you could download Docker with an Apache installation already on it and then customize that. One way, or if you've got a spare Raspberry Pi, then you could do what I'm about to attempt. So if you'd like to see me having a go, first thing I'm going to run is this little Python script, which is here, which if you keep your eye on my videos folder, it's just popped a black screen and it says, what is the project's name? I'm just going to call this project PHP. And as if by magic, it's created me a PHP folder with audio, code, images, output, text, and video. So that's where I'm going to store my kind of bits and pieces for this video. That's just, I'll just share that with you. Automating everything saves you time. So let's just minimize that. I'll just show you what I'm going to be using. So I've got WinSCP here, and it's already actually connected to my Raspberry Pi. Just refresh that. Yeah, it's definitely connected. So let's show you that. Got a few files floating around in the documents folder. Basic Raspberry Pi installation, Raspbian, or whatever the new version of Raspbian is called. Yeah. So just going to minimize that for now. This is the Raspberry Pi, which I'm just going to log into as well. So I'm using PuTTY, and default port 22, static IP address 192.168.1.9, open. That's opened on the screen. So just gonna log in, and there we go. We've got a Raspberry Pi waiting for, I believe this. I don't know if Pi already has Apache and PHP installed or not. I can't remember. This one has, because if it didn't have, then I've already done it. And I was experimenting with some bits and pieces last night. So if you look in var www.html, and you can see already I've got some stuff in there, but that's going to be overwritten. So in fact, I don't want to lose what I've got in there, so I'm just going to rename. Let's rename what the bits and pieces that are already in there, or shall we just move? Let's make a new directory inside there. sudo old. Okay, so next I'm just going to have a look at this on Stack Overflow, which is a very basic one page it's using MySQL I. Okay, let's just make that form action, post, type, search, submit. Let's make an index PHP page, shall we? So I'm going to do that in Sublime Texts. And let's just save that as index PHP. And then we use WinSCP to copy it from videos folder. Where is videos? This is quite small, I apologise. What I'll do is I'll give a bit more of I'll commentate more on what I'm doing. So I'm copying from my PHP folder, which is just where I'm creating my code for this project. And I'm just going to transfer it onto the Raspberry Pi var/ww. Yes. It doesn't let, because of security, it won't let you put the files straight in there. So instead, what I'm going to have to do is copy from my Windows PC onto Raspberry Pi, which if I just put to drag it from the Windows PC onto the Pi home directory, and that just was cd tilde takes me home, and then let's just do sudo move index PHP to var www.html, which is the Apache or the web server directory on the Raspberry Pi. And now if I just open up a browser, which let me show you, 192.168.1.9. Not very interesting, but there it is. That's our four lines that we got from here. See, so we've got form. If we view the source for that, view page source, there you see that matches that. So we've now got a page running on a Raspberry Pi. So the Raspberry Pi is effectively going to be the fake web server that we're going to be scraping eventually. And what's next? Let's so doing a search. Setting up a connection with a server name, username, password, database name. If you get connection error, then connection failed. Else, select from your database table where the name is like whatever your search value is. While the row is true, echo the first name from your database. That's got six likes. That should be okay. That looks like a little bit more. That's just a more fancy version. Right, let's add that PHP code in. And it can't just go in like that because you do need to do something to configure it. So server name, username, password, database name. I think I can get away with using localhost. And then I've got user 3 and password 3. This is my test, and I can't remember what my test database was called. Doesn't matter because I'm going to create a new one. So what should we call the new database? Let's call it ScrapeDB. Scrape, not scrap. So many people call it web scrapping, which it's not, is it? Select star from information. I'm going to call that. It's actually going to be. Really doesn't matter, does it? Let's call it information. Just going to tidy this up. Okay, there's name. Let's typo there. All right, let's. I'm just going to copy that onto the Pi now, and I fully expect to receive the connection error message because ScrapeDB doesn't exist. But it's all about just one step at a time. So let's move index.php, which I've now transferred from my Windows PC to the Pi. Now I'm transferring it from the Pi home directory into the Pi www directory. Good, that's done. And now if I refresh my page on my web server, so to speak, connection failed. Access denied for user 3 at localhost using password yes. Okay, that's fine. We can fix that. In fact, there's plenty of database tutorials out there. This isn't really going to be one of those. This is kind of it's not even a tutorial really. Don't copy how I do it, but just maybe copy what I do. And what did I have? I'm just looking in my book of passwords because I write down all my passwords, which is a cardinal sin, but red and green, I think. Let's just was it called user 3, password was red and green. And you're welcome to try and copy this or hack into it. Good luck. And ScrapeDB. So I'm just going to transfer that back onto the Pi again. and then we will look at PHP code. Copy on to home directory, transfer from home into www, just run it once again, should get the same message. User 3 to database scrape DB, right, that's fine. So next we need to create the database. And if you go to, I've got some notes from when I've done this before, because on my site I just put some handy notes for setting up a MySQL database on, doesn't have to be a Raspberry Pi, but yeah, so let's it's MariaDB, isn't it? So let's just follow those. So there's red and green, and go to blog, and then you will find the third most recent article. It's all about pandas, CSV. I did a previous video on it, so there we go. In fact, I've already set up user 3. Why don't I just use example DB then? You see? It's I think I've still got example DB on that Pi. It's one way to check. 192.168 phpMyAdmin. And let's try to log in as well. User 3 and red and green. And we're in. And depending on what user you log in as, will decide, it dictates what databases you can see. So because I've logged in as user 3, I'm just seeing example DB. And yeah, I've got a table there called patients, which I actually need to drop because that's got some sensitive information in it. So let's try and remember where we do that. Databases, settings, somewhere where you can drop. There we go. Operations. Create table, database comment. In fact, I'll go back one. Then let's drop it. You're about to destroy a complete table. Do you really want to execute drop patients? In fact, I don't want to drop it. Let's just delete all the data from it. So, empty. Yeah. Truncate empties your database. Fine. So patients 3, ID, patient number, claim status. That'll do. So example DB. Table is called patients 3. So let's just example DB. Just refresh this again. And that's still trying to scrape DB because I didn't update the file. So let's copy the updated index to the Pi and then move it into var www.html and run again. And this time we don't have an error message. I know this is probably not too exciting for you, but or it might be. That means we have successfully connected to MariaDB on the Raspberry Pi using an existing username password combination. We've connected to a database which we've already got set up. So we've successfully done all of these things. So we've successfully connected. So we didn't get this error message, which is fantastic. Now, SQL select from where first name like. So the first name doesn't exist in... Right, so information we need to change to... The table was called patients. I think what I could do is I could have just done all this really generic and called it test table and test DB and patients 3. I've already got a table set up, and obviously in real life this is what most often you would have. Let's actually just put in from patients where let's actually make a couple of records as well. So from patients where one. Anybody know if there's like a command just to generate some dummy data? I know there is in pandas, which is really cool. Obviously, I could insert. Let's go for insert. ID is 1. Patient number is 1, 2, 2, 3. Claim is ABC. Status is no. Does that allow it? Yeah. And no. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 1 row. You're so used to seeing hundreds of rows. I missed it. Let's run our web page again and then see what it finds. So we need to do what are we selecting on? We're selecting on where first name. So we want to select where something equals something. So let's search on patient number. So let me just make this a bit bigger. So patnum. So let's just change our query where we're setting this up. And pat underscore num like search value. So what we're saying is whatever's in the search box is what we want to search underscore value percentage. Patnum. And then this is just what text will appear on the screen. So all we're going to do is actually we're searching for the patient number, and then it's going to actually echo the patient number back to the screen, which is not. Let's just do that for now. Trying to think and talk is very difficult. I know they used to say that about a certain famous politician. They said he couldn't talk and walk at the same time. I'm not going to say who that allegedly was, but Oh, so that's already finding. Select. So now, right, patient number like. So you see what that's done? That's actually just patient number like search value. Let's we just need to look at a better way of yeah, I think we should be using search, not search. What have we called? We called our search box name. Input name was search, wasn't it? Input text name is search, and they've put search value there onto the Stack Overflow example, whereas I think it needs to be this. Let's just I think I know what they would. Well, I don't know. Let's just try this instead. By the way, I'm not a database expert, but I'm familiar with it enough to be able to set things up and do the more standard types of bits of code. So let's just copy that again. I should automate this, really, automate the copying and the moving. It's only 2 mouse clicks, right? So why is that? Oh, yeah. Right, I'm selecting everything from patients. Select all from patients where patient number is like my search. Let's add some more. This is not a good way to test, because really what I need many more. Have I still got it open? Yes, I have. So I need a few more bits of data in here, really. Let's do insert. So ID was 2. Patient number can be 1224. Claim can be B, C, D. Status is yes. Right. Let's just run my search again. Okay, so it's printing everything to the screen and it's taking no notice of the search. Whereas what I really need to do is something like, I hope you can see this all okay. Let's make that really readable. So let's search, let's get select. Let's select several things then, shall we? Let's select ID and patient number. ID and patient number. from where patient number is like what we've put in the search box. I'm not, I think I need to check on that. I need to concentrate on that because patient number. And here, let's echo some more things. So I think you use a dot with PHP. So let's just, and you need the TD as well. Let's do this then. So we need to do something like this. I'm just copying and pasting this, by the way. I'm not really up for. No, let's go patient number. Just going to copy this. Let's put that down below. Oh, they're doing a MySQL fetch array, which we don't want to do just yet, because I only want to find one, so I don't need an array. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, the search. So the search is actually select ID patient number from patient. So a patient number is like what we put in our search. And we're posting the search to the... Oh, it's there, isn't it? Sorry. Oh, and in the first example, I know what they did wrong. Why it didn't work. They'd... on the Stack Overflow post, I'm sure they'd done capital S. Can't remember. Anyway, let's try this. Index PHP, copy it again, move it again. Let's test it. So, patient number 1223. Let's what are we searching on? We're searching on, let's type in a 4. Hooray. The search function is now working. So that might not look too significant, but it means we've got all of, there we go. So as well as patient number, we need to select from patients. Yes, so here, see, we're just showing patient number. We also want to show something else on the screen. We want to show, let's start showing the rest of the information for that record. Just bear with me. I believe we can do something like this. Just a dot. And then instead of patient number, we want to show some other information. So we'll show patient number second. Let's show ID first. While we're up here, let's do a third value as well. Patient number ID, and what was another field called? Claim. Let's put in claim as well, shall we? See. Sometimes two screens is good, but other times it's two screens can confuse you because you end up with your mouse in the wrong box and you start typing and you've still got the cursor on your other screen on your other window. Has anybody got a really big screen? Would you recommend them? Because I know with big screens you get high resolution and then you end up with really small fonts. Right. Let's just move that over there. Copy index PHP one more time. Move that, and then let's just test this, and then we will get on with something a bit more interesting. So continue. Oh, what is this doing? Oh, so do you see what's happening? Because I've just it's actually just it's displaying the information, but it's actually just patient number. Claim. So the ID, we'll just go and browse. So the ID is, so it's showing, it's not showing claim or status. Let's just check this. You see the error? So I need to do select ID, platinum, claim. Let's do status while we're at it. And we need to put some spaces in between here, which is going to test my very dim and distant PHP knowledge. Oh dear, what did I just do there? I don't know. I don't think I deleted. That's why Windows are so dangerous. You just end up dragging a folder into another one. I don't like Windows. I don't like Windows file manager type things. Too easy to move folders about. Right, how do we make this a bit more pretty? Let's go back to Stack Overflow, just copy what they've got. So this is not, as I say again, this is not a it's not a PHP tutorial, it's not a MySQL tutorial. Really, it's just I'm not showing you how to do it, I'm showing you kind of what to do, if that makes sense. So let's have a look. So we can just do, I think we can just do that after each one. See, PHP echoes, where it gets confused, if you're not used to PHP, it's kind of, it echoes HTML, but it echoes HTML in quotes, if that makes sense. Just bear with me on this. I'm gonna some of you are probably screaming at the screen saying no, that's wrong, it's gonna break. Let's just test it. Fasten your seatbelts. Does this person know what they're doing? No, it's broken it. So HTTP error 500. And that is what you get when you are testing and messing about with PHP. And I haven't used it for a long time. Thing is, if you're used to just clicking, installing things like WordPress, you get a bit lazy and you forget some of the things that you learned back in the day. In fact, why don't we do this? Okay. That's patient number used to go in there because that's it was nonsense before. And let's just try this. Right. I don't think my PHP 3 or my PHP 4 skills are lurking in my brain. I think they've been deleted in my brain, so I think that section of my brain was marked for overwrite, and I think Python's overwritten the PHP stuff. Right, let's go. So run again. Oh, I didn't do the old magic trick, did I? Here we go. Hooray. So, what have we got? Patient number 1223. Let's look at patient 1223. Patient 1223 is ABC. So, patient 1224. And we've got claim is BCD. No, this might not look very exciting. And yeah, I'm sure Cat's playing piano, or I don't know, space rockets taking off, or other certain things on the internet are probably more interesting. But what this is it's the beginning of my fake web server project. So this will allow me to use Selenium to what I'm also going to do, let's just let me just list out the things, or the plan, and I'll let you see what the whole point of this was if you're still in the dark. Where's Sublime Text gone? There we go. Let's just finish this off, and then I'll explain the method behind my madness. So we want patient number, claim, status, and what else do we want? Patient number, ID. Yes. In no particular order, because although I was trying to emphasize this is a real world project, for the sake of this video, which I don't want to send you all to sleep. Well, maybe I do. Does anybody watch these videos late at night? If I've had trouble getting to sleep, I have watched. There's some really good Pycon videos, about 2 hours long. If you start watching one of those, I'm not saying the content's boring, far from it, but just combine the length of the video with the time of day, and sometimes that will help you get to sleep. Oh, I could bootstrap CSS this as well, couldn't I? Do I want to do that? In fact, I'm not even sure if the Pi's got a full internet connection. I don't think it has. No. So I'm not going to mess about with any bootstrap. Let's just give the page a little bit of a let's just give it a little bit of a tidy up. So you've seen all the SQL and the PHP, so I've just copied this from interweb, redandgreen.co.uk. Red and green. Don't need an image. Web scraping demo server. This is actually for a real-world project, and it's running on a database called SAP, which is all I'm going to tell you. And please choose a patient. What are we searching on? I've been so busy kind of trying to talk whilst craving coffee and clicking in so many screens. So we're looking for patient number, aren't we? So we need to say, please enter a patient number to look up. And let's just leave that there. Right, good. Okay, so that actually can go in the body. And I believe it's good practice to put PHP at the start. So I'm just going to get all that and put it, where does it go? I think it goes, does it go at the start of the body? Can't remember. In fact, I'm going to put it there. Probably going to get shot down in flames for this, but no, I don't want to ping. Sorry about that. Move it to index, and let's just check it still works, and then we will call it a day. So the PHP has, that actually needs to go. Do you see what we've got? So we've got our search button, which is at the bottom, and let's just move all of this. Cut. So that's our search form. Paste that in there, and then let's try. You're probably highly appalled at my HTML skills, and again, I've overwritten my PHP and HTML skills with a lot of Python stuff. Well, that's my excuse. So, and then update it in the pie. There we go. So I hope this. Do you want me to do anything else on that? Let's just demonstrate it one last time. There we go. I could brand this. I could brand it with the red and green and everything, couldn't I? Let's add some more data into the database, shall we? Just make it slightly more realistic. Patient number is 225. Claim number is in real life that's actually going to say something else, but for sake of this video I'm going to keep it like that, and insert again for I'd be interested if anybody knows whether there's a way how to just within MySQL, if there's a way how to just generate any dummy data. I know you can import, I think, what's that really good site? Do Factory SQL. What you could do is free SQL examples with Do Factory. Yeah, and I know at the end they've got they have a sample database. Download the sample model and scripts, and there you see they've got so that's relational, and you can practice joins and so on. So if you want to see what a left join is, just a join or an inner join, yeah, it's all there. So for now, I think that's enough. Hopefully you've learned a little bit. If not, well, at a very minimum, you've learned that I'm rusty at PHP. But what I've done is I've gone onto GitHub. I've just copied some very basic code, which is actually, if you look at how long ago that was, 6 years and 11 months. You know, people say that everything's always changing in the world of IT and computing and so on, but for the sake of what I needed to do here, which was set up a dummy web server with some very basic SQL database lookup, then 6 years old, 11 months, 7 years old, it doesn't matter. It's all out there. So, and then from my site, I just kind of used this as reference, and I'd already had a username and a database set up. If you wanted to if you want to know how to create a user on MySQL from scratch, then you do sudo MySQL username root, create database, create user, grant all privileges, and yeah, if you want access from a remote machine, you'll see examples where they've got. Can you see if I zoom in a bit? Yeah, do you see where you've got the percentage sign there? Often you'll see localhost there. So grant all privileges on example 2, username at, and it'll say localhost, but if you do the percentage, it allows you to do it from a remote computer. And obviously I'm doing all of this on my Windows PC, but I'm accessing the Raspberry Pi. So the Pi is effectively a remote machine. So the reason I can access it is because when I set it up, I used that percentage sign. So what have I used? Let's just summarize what we've used here. We've used a Raspberry Pi as a MariaDB MySQL server running PHP. So when you install Apache, when I installed PHPMyAdmin, it installed Apache, it installed PHP, and I already had MySQL. So LAMP, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. So the reason all this is working is because it's being served by PHP, and the PHP code is doing the interrogation of the database. So 1, 2, 2, 5, search, and there we go. Patient number, claim, status, ID. And why is status empty? Did I not enter empty anything for that? Oh, if it's a node and it's empty. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I'll fix that another time. I think that's because status. Was I looking for it in my code? Stat US. I had stat was bad. Right, let's just do that one more time. We'll update it and then we'll go and do something else for our day. So let's just do one last time. WinSCP, index PHP, copy it onto the Pi, move it from the home directory on the Pi into the web server directory var www.html, and then say goodbye to the Pi, say goodbye to WinSCP, and let's just run this one more time. And let's just do a lookup, and you see we've got yes and we've got no. So we can do something such as like this. We can, let's just I know some people like a white screen. Let's just summarize this then. So 1, set up remote fake web server using Linux Pi. Set up MySQL as replica of the real site. So same columns, etc. And then what else do we do? Write index.php to search and display table in MySQL. Let's just so set the fake server up. If you've got a Raspberry Pi, install MySQL or MariaDB. Same difference. Right, write index PHP. Right, then copy index.php to the Pi. Move index.php from home to var www.html. Test in browser using IP address of the Pi. So in my case, I was using 192.168.1.9, and then next, write Selenium code, Selenium/Python code to interrogate the page as if it was the real stroke target site. Good. I think that summarized what we've done here, and yeah, I know this has probably been a bit slow for some of you, and this, some of you are kind of way more advanced than this, but really it's just a Saturday morning setting up a spare Raspberry Pi with a bunch of code which I found on Stack Overflow, and it's showing just how, if you've got a site that's really secure and you don't want to compromise your customers' access, then set up a replica. And I mean, obviously the next thing would be to go in and in fact, I might do that in the next video. What I need to do is echo that, and I also need to echo an ID, because obviously that's what we're going to be searching for with Selenium. When I say an ID, I mean like a CSS ID. So if I just select that, inspect, at the moment, how would we web scrape this? It's all the same. So next thing will be, I'll do some research before the next one, and I'll make the video a little bit shorter, and it will just be going through assigning class IDs to this, and then I will show the Selenium code, which then comes in and finds by element, find element by ID. And well, first off, I'm going to input a lookup number. Then I'm going to send keys, send a click to the search button. I'll give the search button an ID, and then I will give each of these an individual ID so that I can scrape with Selenium. Could even do it, no. Could you do it with Scrapey? Probably form request. Yeah. Anyway, I hope this has been, I don't know, has it been interesting? Probably, maybe not. If it's a one-off really, or not one-off, it'll be a two-off, because the next one will be me actually writing the Selenium script and so on. So, yeah. Don't unsubscribe if you think I'm an idiot and this is a load of rubbish, because it's kind of just this is a little mini two-part series, never to be repeated, but hopefully it's been of interest to some of you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, have fun, whatever. Yeah, see you. Bye.